The Washington Commanders may have just found the kind of draft class that doesn't just change a roster, it changes the entire fear level of the NFC East.
Can they win the NFC East? Yes. And it's what you said, Shay. And Stephen A., you alluded to it too. Like, obviously it's early in the season, it's wishful thinking to think that we know everything about these teams. That was a super impressive win on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. The problem that I have with will they, all you got to do is get hot. And the Commanders have the talent now, I believe, to get hot enough to be in that conversation with winning the NFC East when it's all said and done.
Yes, we will. Luckily, we had a chance to interview Sonny. So we got to meet the person, sit down and talk to him. I thought he's a well put together guy, man. And you could tell that his daddy got a super influence on him because this guy's put together well, like body-wise, but mentally, you can tell that this guy understands what he's about to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. As impressive as he is on a football field, you saw what he did at Ohio State on the football field and then the combine with the measurables and blowing that away. But then when you sit down and you hear him talk, hear him in his press conference, and just the way he answers the questions, I'm just like, man, he is mature beyond his years, beyond his age. When we interviewed him, answering the question, I played with his dad, Lorenzo, for 3 years in St. Louis. His father was one of my vets in the room.
Yeah. Father's
extremely smart guy.
What did you say when you called him and they was watching film?
Yeah, so his dad and I still keep in contact, and so last season it was during the off season. I called Zoe and asked him, what you up to? He's like, man, I'm at the house watching film with Sonny.
Yeah,
and so them dudes is watching film.
He's sharing the knowledge with
sharing the knowledge, and then when he shared with us that he said his father used to come to
Ohio
State like 6 in the morning to watch film with him, and then go off to work. So his football acumen, football IQ is going to be off the charts. And what we talk about, he's only scratching the surface.
He has not peaked.
He's only played the position for 2 years.
I would say he ain't even close to peaking. And like he said, it's a difference than closing that gap coming from safety and then being 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and you can't afford to make a wrong step.
Yeah. And that's where I see him going to be, eventually.
What you think the hardest transition going to be from college? Is it the strength of the guards? Is it the speed of the guards? Is it the way the running backs hit the hole he going to have to worry about? Is it the angles that he take? What's going to be the hardest transition from college to pros for a middle line? Is it the calling the plays and the checks?
I would say probably just being the green dot guy, because I don't know what the system was like. I know he played in a pro system under
the Patriots
Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
But just doing it a little bit differently on the pro level, where you got to get the call, you got to get everybody lined up. You got to get yourself lined up. You might have some checks.
Yeah.
And then you still have to go out and make plays.
Yeah.
So just getting used to that. But I feel like because of his football acumen, the way he studies, he'll get that down. But that was probably going to be the biggest adjustment, because he's playing in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
A lot of great football players.
A lot of great offensive linemen.
Offensive linemen.
Yeah.
You're gonna deal with some guys a little bit stronger at the guard position and athleticism, but he's gonna be the most athletic guy on the field in most cases.
Yeah, I've been saying from day one he's gonna be able to go sideline to sideline. I don't think that's gonna be the problem. He's gonna be able to go sideline to sideline. He's gonna be able to cover tight ends. He's gonna be able to cover the third receiver coming up the seam. He's gonna be able to blitz. He's gonna be able to do all that stuff. Like you said, to me, it's gonna be the checks and him lining himself back up, like after making those checks.
And here's another thing: finding his routine. Think about when you left college, came into the pros, finding your own routine, how you want to operate daily. Finding the people that's going to work on your body outside of the field, the facility.
And I think coming from Ohio State, he probably real prepped when it comes to that stuff. Because one thing I can say about Ohio State, they're not cutting costs on nothing. They make sure them guys got the best of the best when it comes to everything. And with him being second generation NFL baller, I'm sure his daddy has already kind of routined him up and say, this is what it's gonna have to be like.
He told him
Styles out of getting that 59. We told him don't put nothing on in the 50s.
While you're doing that, I don't want to completely change the subject, but I was going to ask about, we talked a little bit about that Sonny Styles, Fred Warner comp.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
I think he's a hybrid of Fred Warner and Brian Urlacher. Urlacher started at safety at New Mexico. Came to the league. They were playing that cover 2. He was able to run up the seam better than anybody, and body type is very much Urlacher.
Here's though when Urlacher first came into the league, he was drafted. He played under Greg Bloch, GB.
Yeah, GB. Yeah,
there was a lot more aggressive defense. He had maybe between 6 and 8 sacks.
They had him going downhill.
His rookie year.
Yeah.
Because initially they tried to play him at outside, then they moved him to the middle, and he just took off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he took off like
it was his ability to run.
Yeah, so that's a great comp. I'm glad you mentioned Fred. I was at the combine when Fred Warner was there. It was Fred Warner, Tremaine Edmonds, Roquan Smith. And I didn't know who Fred was. He was playing out of BYU.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this guy, and I actually got asked, what linebackers have impressed me. And I mentioned Fred Warner. I was just so impressed with his movements that one, especially when we got to doing the linebacker drills.
How fluent he was.
Man.
At that height, too.
Yes. Yeah. 6'3".
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Sonny, though, with those measurables, and it's not just measurables. It's one thing to say, hey, he ran like this, 6'5", 244, jumped like this. But the tape also,
he plays like that.
He plays like that. Yeah. And he's still got more to go. He's literally just scratching that surface.
Are you worried about his height with offensive linemen getting under his pads? You ain't worried about that because they did in the Big Ten. Yeah.
And he's learning how to play with what we call heavy hands too. So he doesn't allow linemen really to get underneath him.
Yeah, to get in his body.
To get into his body.
Yeah.
When you got those arms like that, there's multiple times on tape where he's shocking those offensive linemen, getting off of them, shocking, shedding, making plays on the ball carrier. No, I'm not worried about them getting underneath him as well. And then he has a great linebacker coach in Ken Norton as well.
Yeah.
Played the position. He'll teach him, hey, you may want to play with your pads just
a little bit low. Yeah.
And it might just be, let's call it 3-4 inches, that you
tweaking. I'm gonna play a little bit lower.
But he plays position the right way, and it's only going to continue to go up for him.
Well, he ain't the only guy that got drafted, man. In the 3rd round, in the 71st pick, we took Antonio Williams, slot guy, Clemson, who I really do like. I really do like this guy. He's one of them guys. I always do this with receivers. I always say, what's my identifier on this receiver? If I'm talking Santana Moss, it's speed. That's the identifier. This guy's one of them guys that does everything good, nothing great. So he has no true identifier. He's fast enough. Yeah. He's quick enough. He's built enough. He get in and out of his cuts. He wastes no motion when it comes to running routes. He's a smooth route runner. I don't know if you watched the kid.
I did. Yeah. I watched him especially after we took him.
Yeah.
And great hands, too.
Yeah. Oh, no, he don't drop balls.
He can contested catches, but he creates separation. And when I was talking about, hey, us getting a receiver, you guys were all in on,
a tall guy.
Bigger guy. Yeah. But I felt like we needed a guy to work that intermediate level.
To move the chains.
Not just even move the chains. Yeah. He can move the chains, but he also has yards after the catch.
Yeah.
And you can play him at Z, you can play him at F, match him up certain routes. His junior year, he had 11 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Last year, the quarterback play wasn't.
K did not play the same way,
and he dealt with a little bit of hamstring injury, but he was still productive.
Yeah.
So I think this was a heck of a pick in the 3rd round.
Now I think sky's the limit because you look at who we got at the slot. That was Debo's spot. All right, Debo not a part of the team anymore. You needed to get somebody in there, and I think you'll put Jalen Lane in that lane and say he has a chance to play that slot,
right.
And maybe Luke McCaffrey can get another chance to probably try to go inside. But I think it's wide open for this guy to be the slot wide receiver.
Absolutely. But think about this. So this offense that we're going to, we assume David Blau's offense is going to have a lot of similarities, like a Ben Johnson, because of his influence on him. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown,
yes,
in Detroit.
Yeah,
what he's able to do in this system. I know the Bears just traded DJ Moore, but I think he was playing that role.
Yeah, he was a move guy.
He was a move guy.
Yeah.
extremely productive, high target guy. And it's not a big body receiver. It's that guy around 6 feet,
So that can
5'11",
move.
6
Yes,
feet,
yeah.
6'1", that makes a lot of plays. So I'm excited to see how he's able to excel in this offense.
All right, we didn't have a 4th round, so we go right to the 5th round, and we got Joshua Joseph, edge that I had to school you earlier.
You did. I came to you. I will admit it. It pained me too to come to you.
This dude right here got something to him. Like, this dude got something to him, and I'm all about that first step when it comes to my edges. And this dude first step, he gets after the guys. I said he got a little Bruce Smith in him now. He'll pass rush on first down. But he gonna get out to the pass.
He believes in playing around on the way to the quarterback.
On the way to the quarterback.
Listen, I had to go to Fred Kuiper. You the draft king. So I said, man, tell me about Joshua Joseph and the fact he's in the SEC.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because you gave me your synopsis and then I went to my book. I
seen him go pick the book up.
I got a book.
Yeah.
I got a book. And I be darned if it wasn't basically verbatim what you said.
Exactly what I just said.
I said, oh, this dude knows his stuff.
Hey, man, listen, the guy going to be able to edge to the – he got a lot of edges to compete with. He got a lot of guys that he can learn from, but a guy like Kaytron, he's only a 1-year deal, right?
Yep.
So this guy,
Kaytron's a 1-year deal.
Yeah. So he'll have a chance to get in the rotation.
Yeah, a lot of, and you need some more young pass rushers. So you think, always not older, but we need some young
true youth.
Yeah, young guys that you develop, bring up, and you look at his measure, 6'3", about 250,
about 250, 240.
Burst off that edge.
Yeah.
I have looked at some film, but I wanted to get a deeper understanding of him. That's why I went to you.
He got a freaky spin move too. Like the dude can really get at it. Like that's why I like him. We do have the 6th round pick. Kaytron Allen, he said call him Fat Man.
Fat Man.
Fat Man Allen. We had to add a running back.
And what was I saying? What did I say multiple times in our draft show? I said we need a big back.
A big back. And so we got one named Fat Man.
Fat Man. That's the big back.
That's what I'm saying. Usually people don't like to be called fat. He want to be called Fat Man.
But he's not. When you look at him, he ain't fat now.
No, he's big.
He's big. But
he's built.
You feel his presence.
Yeah.
Penn State, they always produce top flight running backs.
Yeah.
He's the all-time leading rusher in Big Ten Penn State history.
While sharing the backfield with Singleton.
Yeah. The last 2 years, this dude has rushed for, I want to say about 2,400 yards.
Wow.
And 23 touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. While sharing it with another back that got drafted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that lets you know this. That's what jumped out to me this past season. They were like 1,300 yards and 15 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. So that means every time he get the ball, he takes advantage of every touch he gets. Like, he understands what sharing the backfield looks like. And you always need that back in your backfield, that 3 yards in a cloud of dust guy.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to fall forward every time. That make it hard on us. We hate them dudes.
And think about this. Hopefully we're playing ahead in a lot of games, and we get into the 4-minute offense.
And he gonna be the one that drain the clock.
To close it out. It's not short yardage, goal line situations. You need a guy that you can hand that ball to and know he's gonna get you that first down or that touchdown, or be able to run out that clock in the 4-minute situation.
Yeah, most definitely. Fat Man.
Fat Man Allen.
In the last 2 years, we done got a dollar bill and a fat man. Like, that's what we do. All the running backs come with nicknames.
You got to have a nickname if you're a running back.
Yeah, you got to have a nickname. First round draft pick Sonny Styles, because we are ecstatic about this guy. We feel like we got one of the best defensive players in the draft. Can you fill us in on your thoughts about him?
Yeah, well, I totally agree with you. And I had Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and I'm watching them standing there on the sideline, and I'm looking at Arvell Reese, and I'm looking at Sonny Styles, and I'm going, who are these absolute monsters?
Right.
It's under, you see, obviously, a linebacker comes in all shapes and sizes, but these guys are. Sonny Styles is tall and long and rangy, and I just think, with the need that Washington have, obviously you signed Leo Chenal, out of free agency, and then, Jordan McGee's can play, probably in the middle. But Chanel's played most of the last 4 years at Kansas City on the outside.
Yeah.
I think that you're talking about a plug and play right away difference maker down the middle. And I think the thing that for me is we could talk all about height, weight, speed, arm length, hand size, all of that great stuff. I think the one question you got to ask yourself with all of these guys, particularly first rounders, in terms of whether they're going to project and make it, is do they love football?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, do they live and breathe on football? And I think he does, man. I think that's one of the things that sets him apart.
It's there. It's everywhere. I also got to ask you. I got to ask you too about Antonio Williams. What do you see us getting in the package in Antonio Williams, wide receiver out of Clemson?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, and this is the most important part of it, he's got to somehow come up with a way to prove his durability. He's got to stay healthy. If there's a knock on Antonio Williams, rarely do you hear it being spoken about being a physical trait, right? Mm-hmm. It's, can he remain healthy? Because the one thing that makes him so good, and they did this with him as a true freshman, when he emerged as a true freshman, he can play everywhere. He can play on the inside. He can play on the outside. He can get off coverage. He knows how to navigate space and locate voids in zone coverage. He's got that burst and that into and out of breaks type of stuff that creates separation. He's always been a tough guy. I mean, he worked through a hamstring injury the entire year this past fall, didn't sit it out, didn't check it down, continued to play. So you admire the toughness. I just think he's one of those guys that if he stays healthy, he's really gifted physically, but he also understands the nuances of the position, how to create leverage, how to eat cushion, how to attack alignment, and find ways to get open. He's a little bit like maybe a faster version of Jalen Coker that's playing for Carolina right now. That just catches everything. You know where he's going to be. He's reliable. I just think Antonio Williams has maybe a little more juice to him.
Okay.
That's what I was going to ask you. What would be your comp to him? Is it a Brandon Stokely? It is a Wes Welker? Like, what's your comp for him? Far as who does he truly remind you of? Who could he develop in, and who could he be? Is it Emmanuel Sanders? Somebody like that?
Yeah, I think so. He's taller than guys like Jalen Waddle, right? But I still think he's got some of that explosiveness. Where for me, where I think he's really good is, given that he's not a 6'4" guy, if you watch him, he's really good in traffic. When he's contested, he's got strong hands at the point of attack, man. I think that stuff really matters.
And stuff like that. So I think it's all about his finishing and his hand screen. I think can get better on that one. But tell us about Kaytron Allen. All right, Fat man. Tell us what we getting in the Fat Man, because we lost Chris Rodriguez. Can he fill the void left by Chris Rodriguez?
Yeah, but you also got a bunch of backs in the fold, right? Right now, this roster's got,
but he's the big back that we missed.
We got Rashad Wright. We also got Jerome Ford, but I think he's a one of one in that room. Wouldn't you say that, London?
Oh yeah. All those guys are a little bit smaller backs, more explosiveness, maybe catch a little bit more balls out of the backfield, but with Allen, he's that big power back that we needed to replace Chris Rodriguez.
Here's the thing. I think David Blau loves the inside and outside zone, one cut, get downhill, and press the crease, right? Mm-hmm. That's what Kaytron Allen does best. What I really like about Kaytron Allen is he came in to Penn State in the same class with Nick Singleton, okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And neither one of them transferred. They knew it was going to be a 1-2 punch. They weren't selfish. They were going to get their touches. They were two different types of backs. I think that kind of tells you something about their makeup, but you're right. He's a different presence than what they currently have and brings a bit of a dimension, and you want to have it because he'll pound it on you now. I mean, he's one of those guys that gets better in the fourth quarter than he is in the first quarter. So I just like the fact, usually sometimes that position is we all can get a little selfish, right? Mm-hmm. Where's the rock? How come I'm not getting my carries and this and that? And that didn't happen with him. I think that's a nice and tangible trait.
Who would you pick? So we've got Giants.
We're not going to do our team first?
Well, we could do our team first, of course.
Well, of course I'm keeping Jedi 5.
Yeah, I'm keeping
Jedi 5 and Tunsil.
I'm keeping Jedi 5, man. I'm keeping Terry. Yeah. Jedi 5 and Terry.
I'm going Jedi 5 and Tunsil.
What about defensively?
I'm keeping Sonny Styles.
Yeah, so you got to keep Sonny.
And I'm keeping Oway, man. I know, probably Oway.
I'm gonna keep Sonny. Nah, I like Dafe Owe because you need somebody that's gonna get that edge pressure.
Yeah, you a Leo Schnell guy, ain't you?
I need somebody. I'm on the corner cover. I may go Trey Amos.
All right.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Well, last thing I had was just a little game called Good Point or Chill Out, where we react to some NFL draft takes from this ESPN article I read. We're like loosely based off of. Okay.
Right.
First one. The Eagles' 2-year NFC East title streak will end in 2026.
Good point.
Yes.
All right. Easy.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point for both.
Good
okay.
point.
Good point.
The rain is over with.
Yeah.
They can't stay in that rain.
Hell to the Commanders.
Yeah.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.